Ram Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hey! Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Jai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo. Jai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo. Gaura Hari Bo. You have to sing Ohe Vaishnava Thakura by Baladev Prabhu. Hari Bo.
Ohe Vaishnava Thakura Dayar Sagara Edase Karuna Kari Ohe Vaishnava Thakura Ohe Vaishnava Thakura Dayar Sagara Edase Karuna Kari Ohe Vaishnava Thakura Diya pada chaya Sada he amay Diya pada chaya Diya pada chaya Sada he amay Diya Tomar charana dhari Tomar charana Tomar charana dhari Tomar charana Chaya bingado me Chaya dosha shodhi Chaya guna deho dase Chaya bingado me Chaya dosha shodhi Chaya guna deho Chaya दमी छाया दशा सोधि छाया गुना देह दासे छाया दमी छाया दशा छाया सत्संगा देहा है हमारे छाया सत्संगा छाया सत्संगा देहा है हमारे छाया বসে সঙ্গীর আসে বসে ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুরা দয়ার সাগর এ দাসে করুণা করি ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुरा दयार सागर हे दासे करुणा ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुरा दयार सागर हे दासे करुणा करी ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुरा दयार सागर एकाकी हमारा नहीं पाया बल हरि नाम संकीर्तने एकाकी हमारा नहीं पाया बल हरि नाम তুমি কৃপা করি সধা বিন্দু দিয়া তুমি কৃপা করি তুমি কৃপা করি সধা বিন্দু দিয়া তুমি কৃপা করি देह कृष्ण नाम धाने देह कृष्ण नाम धाने कृष्ण से तुम्हारा कृष्ण दीते पार तुम्हारा सकती आछे कृष्ण से तुम्हारा कृष्ण दीते पारा तुम्हारा सकती कृष्ण से तुम्हारा कृष्ण दीते पारा तुम्हारा सकती आछे कृष्ण से तुम्हारा कृष्ण दीते पारा आमी तो कंगाल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोली आमी तो कंगाल आमी तो कंगाल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोली आमी तो कंगाल आमी तो कंगाल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोली आमी तो कंगाल धाई तब पाछे पाछे धाई तब पाछे पाछे धाई तब पाछे पाछे धाई तब पाछे पाछे ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुरा दयार सागर हे दासे करुणा करी ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुरा दयार सागर ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुरा दयार सागर हे दासे करुणा करी ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुरा दयार ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुरा दयार सागर हे दासे करुणा करी ओ हे जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय इंद्र प्रभु जय इंद्र प्रभु इंद्र प्रभु जय इंद्र प्रभु जय प्रभुपादा 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 जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा 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 जय प्रभुपादा निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
So this is the first melody I learned from our Indra Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hari Hari Bol. So I think we should continue Kirtan for another 20 minutes. After our, that's what we learned from Mahamantra Prabhu. Sloka Prabhu is right there by the harmonium.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. Jaya Indra Prabhu, Jaya Indra Prabhu, Indra Prabhu, Jaya Indra Prabhu. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nithai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone on the 70th appearance day of Sripad Ayendra Prabhu. He used to call himself Peapad because there were so many Sripads and Bhakti Pads and this Pad and that Pad and Peapad. Those of you who don't speak English so much, you know the peas, right? Matar. It's in a pod, so that's called a pea pod. Anyway, so there was Indra's joke on himself and this whole over-aggrandizement of different titles. I can hear you. What is it, Prabhu? My voice is not good? Okay. He's the sound man here. Okay, check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2, 3. You can turn it up more. Turn it up more, higher. Need more juice. Now that's a little better. Okay. So we want to thank everyone who helped this occasion to be possible. This is the work of the ladies who worked for several days and put a lot of, love into it, and I think it looks very nice. Hari Hari Bo. So we have a lot of devotees. Usually have less. I guess a lot of disciples of Karamakanana Maharaj are here still. So Karamakanana Maharaj ki. Jai. Very good. Another stalwart devotee. And we have Bhakti Vaibhav Maharaj here. Another stalwart devotee. He comes to our house sometimes for lunch. He told me he cannot sing any other melodies than Ayendra Prabhu's melodies anymore. So Ayendra Prabhu touched a lot of us. We are eternally grateful to him. And Maharaj, his health is not very good. He has an appointment 12 o'clock. And I can tell you, he comes to our house, he cannot eat sugar, no white flour, and no salt, 0 salt. He's a real yogi. He's amazing. And he's not skipping any of he's strictly following it, so I don't know anybody in the room can follow that. I know Ayendra Prabhu used to do Chaturmasya Havan, where he would take only rice and dal soaked in water, not even cooked, 0 spices, 0 salt, for 4 months. And it's not very satisfying. And he was on the edge a little bit sometimes. Steam coming out of his ears and laser eyes, ready to catch somebody. And so it's not easy. So we like to ask Maharaj to come first and please say a few words about Ayendra Prabhu.
Ma Om Vishnu Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pachanine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashadyade Satane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I also offer my humble and respectful obeisances to my dear God brother, minimum 6 hours every day. Because at that time, in the early 70s, at least in Europe and Germany, we didn't have any books in the very early beginning. Only we had a German magazine and I think the Ishopanishad in German. No other books. So there was no book distribution going on. We didn't have any restaurants, no projects. The only thing we could do is to go out on the street and chant Hare Krishna 6 hours every day. So this is how we grew up in Krishna consciousness. The chanting of the Mahamantra was in the foreground of all other activities. So that unfortunately over the years it began to change. I wouldn't say exactly exclusively unfortunate because we have to do many other things as well. Just to maintain our temples and so many other projects that requires time and energy. But still, as Srila Prabhupada one time mentioned, that chant your 16 rounds every day minimum, and if you have a little extra time, immediately chant Hare Krishna. Rather thinking, what should we do now? Just chant, immediately sit down, chant the holy name, chant Hare Krishna. So at that time, in the early days, we used to sing these Western type of melodies. Some rock and roll melodies, very strange melodies. And I remember we only had a few melodies which at least myself I could really relate to, very nice melodious melodies. And later on I learned they actually came from Indra Prabhu. So all the other melodies over the years I couldn't relate to them anymore. These West aesthetic, not these half pair of cuddles. Half pair of cuddle kirtans. Very, very ecstatic, but also at the same time, such a variety. Srila Prabhupada, he taught us in the spiritual world there's so much variety. And this is what I really appreciated. So many different melodies, wonderful melodies. Some of them, for me, I'm a little more simplistic. I'm a simple person. Some melodies are a little complicated. But once you actually get into it, it really, really occupies your mind to get absorbed in chanting the holy name. And I remember latest development to really enhance his recordings. And so I went back to Germany. I was very inspired and then, the tragic news came. We might have our plans, but Krishna also has his plans. And still we can see, as mentioned before, his influence. How many devotees he inspired to just sit down and chant Hare Krishna. At least I have a number of friends, devotee friends in Germany, Europe, other countries, which I know And they when they heard these kirtans, they just left, went to India and joined the kirtan. They stayed here for a number of years. So they felt so attracted. And we know that Indra Prabhu, he was very, very strict. He didn't allow any nonsense in the kirtans. He was very, very strict. If someone played a little bit too fast, the cardinals, he just took them away. He was teaching very strictly. Everything should be nicely disciplined, nice kirtans. So that should also continue. Not just the chanting Hare Krishna 24 hours a day kirtan, non-stop kirtan. So that goes on already for so many years. It's just unbelievable. I remember that some temples, they also tried, in Europe, other countries, they tried to follow these. They couldn't do it. It could only last for a couple of months and then finished. So it still goes on. After how many years? Huh? I'm hearing different numbers. I cannot. 37. 37 years. And it still goes on. It's fantastic. But again, we also have to preserve the discipline in these kirtans. The midangas are supposed to support the chanting of the holy name, not cover the chanting of the holy name. It should support it. At the right time, of course, you show your strength, but only at the right time. Otherwise, the midanga playing should be very supportive. And some of our boys, they're playing, I couldn't believe it. Yesterday I participated in the afternoon, and the midanga playing is unbelievable. It's just another dimension. It has developed to such an extent. Baladev. Where is he? Baladev. Where is Baladev? He's playing midanga. So wonderful. I mean, I couldn't. Unbelievable. So Krishna, in other words, Krishna must be very pleased that the devotees are so empowered to enhance the chanting of the holy name. So unfortunately, I don't have so much time. I'm also leaving today. I will really miss your association, but now the pandemic seems to be more or less over. Now we can travel again, visit the Holy Dham, visit Vrindavan. And I'm looking forward already next year to come again, join you in chanting the holy names. So thank you very much for your inspiration and your association. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Indra Prabhu ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari.
Give me this one. Thank you so much, Maharaj. We are hoping you're coming back earlier than next year. Kirtan is going on non-stop, and we'll cook for you. Yes. Without salt.
That's today's feast, right?
Hi. So, thank you so much again, Maharaj. We love your kirtans and your association. Hare Krishna. So next, I think Panchagoda Prabhu will speak. You and Dinabandhu. So they decide who's speaking first. Dinabandhu 1. the winner.
Dina's the boss. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachad Ishitarane Andrew Prabhu Ki. So it's a very glorious day because no one can actually spread the Krishna consciousness without being empowered by Krishna. Krishna Shakti Vinana Hetara Pravartana. And I didn't know Andrew when he was in New York. I was in Miami, but I came to live here in '93, and Andrew, it just was getting going, the 24-hour Kirtan. And of course I was in management, but I was also very attracted to sit with the boys, still trying to learn a few things. But I just saw that steady determination and his seriousness for broadcasting Krishna consciousness throughout the world. He was very determined. That started with the recordings. We were involved in helping with some of the recordings. And he had ideas even back in the early, or in the 90s, of how to broadcast this chanting of the holy name all over the world. He was thinking like that. Sometimes he would go to Delhi, very rarely, but with his funny-looking socks and his dhoti and chadar. And he was very austere, but very enthusiastic and determined to assist Srila Prabhupada in spreading this Sankirtan mission. So in Vrindavan Dham, if we think about how rare it is that the Lord appears once in the day of Brahma, 3 billion, so many years, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just came to inaugurate the Yuga Dharma, Sankirtan. And although sometimes people sit in the Kirtan, visitors, for 2-3 minutes, okay, let's go, family things. And this is the bewilderment. People are bewildered totally. And Andrew was strict, and those who were also wanting to be serious in the Kirtan were attracted by that. They were attracted by his energy and his empowerment, his determination, and our making a small attempt to glorify and remember the efforts of someone who's been blessed and empowered by Srila Prabhupada, by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I mean, we're living in the beginning of the Sankirtan mission, and for all those who are determined to put their time, their energy to chanting, glorifying the holy name, hearing the holy name, because we can't perform the rituals, we can't perform any other yagyas. Practically, there's no other religious principle in this age other than simply to chant Krishna's holy name. And that's a yagya. Sometimes austerity, to regulate the mind, to make that determined effort. And he set a wonderful example by that. And of course, he was seen as a bit eccentric, a little fanatical maybe, but his eccentricism and fanaticism was for the holy name and for pleasing Prabhupada. And sometimes people may have thought that Ayendra Prabhu was more, there's so many Babajis and so many yogis and mystics and persons following maybe esoteric religious processes. He may have looked a little bit of a Krishna conscious avadut, but his faith was in Prabhupada and Prabhupada's words. His determination was to carry out Prabhupada's desire for having this 24-hour Kirtan. Why? Because the whole world's inspired by it. When all these pilgrims or visitors, vacationers, come to Vrindavan, they go from temple to temple to temple. But when they come in Krishna Balaram Mandir, you can see their hair standing on end. And they become captivated. They become captivated by the Kirtan, of course, the beauty of the deities. So This was also one of Ayendra's regular dressing days. He was very, very much relishing, cherishing the opportunity to be on the altar and serving radheshyam Sundalita Vishaka Devi. And it's not artificial. It's good to see when devotees are actually acquiring a taste for the process of Krishna consciousness, because the chanting leads us to more chanting. And when we're hearing that Krishna's there dancing on our tongue or in the sound vibration, or when the devotees are doing kirtan together, the Lord is personally present, where the devotees are glorifying His holy name in the form of Sankirtan, then we have to have that much faith and that much understanding that Krishna is personally coming, and He's seeing the enthusiasm and determination of the devotees. So Ayendra Prabhu did a wonderful service by helping to spread the Sankirtan mission, and I think all of us should follow in that footsteps. We should participate in the kirtan as much as possible, and in this way Prabhupada will be pleased, the Goswamis will be pleased, Lord Chaitanya will be happy. He's ordering everyone that you spread this message of Krishna consciousness all over the world. Not book distribution is kirtan, Harinam Sankirtan is kirtan, and Ayendra Prabhu is the king of kirtan. Ayendra Prabhu ki.
Thank you, Prabhu. Dinabandhu Prabhu is coming.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivinoda Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharni Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Prasatire Satarni Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatribhyasta Kripasindu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Kirtan Chandra Namanandi Sri Ayendra Prabhu ki. I like to call him Kirtan Chandra because all I can see when I think of Ayendra is that moon-like face, sitting there in the middle of the kirtan and encouraging everyone to chant. And oh my goodness, if you went out of time or you did something wrong, his temper was as red as his hair. You get that boom. And Namanandi. There's nobody like Ayendra who took so much anand, pleasure in the holy name. I remember, I guess it was probably around 1985, Ayendra Prabhu came. We'd heard there's some fellow in New York, he's got this moving temple and so many things. And he has a mobile temple. He goes around New York chanting. But I guess somehow or other he wasn't getting the support that he felt he should have, so he decided to leave New York. And I think now it's so many years. What my memory remembers is he wanted to do the same thing, get some sort of a bus and put deities in it and the whole temple room and everything, and go around India chanting, But somehow or other that just didn't work out. And he finally realized that, just like Srila Prabhupada said, this Krishna Balaram Mandir, this is the beating heart of Iskcon. Rather than going here and there and here and there, just to stay in one place, he could affect the whole world, the whole of India and the whole world. So, in the very beginning of when Prabhupada inaugurated the temple, that's coming up soon on 30th, Ram Navami, then Prabhupada requested that, we have 24-hour kirtan. Of course, after the festival, everybody left. In the old days, hardly anybody stayed in Vrindavan. Festival time, we'd see a bunch of devotees, and after that, boom, it was just sleepy time. And then, Kartik festival hadn't really got started, but around Kartik time, we get a bunch of devotees. But the rest of the year was dead. And so it was hard to get people to maintain a 24-hour kirtan, so it gradually petered out. Then there was somebody, I guess around 1984, they tried to, they had a paid kirtan. They would pay devotees, people to chant. But paid kirtan just means Hari Rupi, Hari Rupi, Rupi Rupi. There's no life. So Ainda realized that if he wanted to really affect the world, better to stay in one place, and the beating heart of Iskcon is Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan. So he decided, somehow he grabbed people from here and there and started this program. Nobody getting paid, just people chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. With great difficulty, he managed to somehow keep it going. And as Panchagoda Prabhu said now, people was it Panchagoda or Govinda, I can't remember now, who said that, now so many people are coming, or maybe it was Maharaj this morning in the class, that now so many, it's like Aindra's up there sending people, Sometimes we don't even have room for everybody who wants to join the 24-hour kirtan. So you can only guess that Aindra's up there sending people here. But somehow or other he kept it going, and gradually it began to affect the whole world. People began to realize the real purpose of Krishna consciousness is to chant Hare Krishna. That's what it's all about. We're known as the Hare Krishnas all over the world. As soon as people see us, they say Hare Krishna. Yeah. So he started this kirtan, and he was very, as everybody said, he's very, very strict. You had to play the right beat, and if you got off beat, oh my goodness. And he had an effect on people all over the world. People started paying attention to, now all of a sudden there's, 24-hour kirtan. Somebody had 40th anniversary, there's a 40-hour kirtan. All these kirtans are inspired by Aindra's dedication to the holy name, and just by sitting here in one place. And you could hardly ever get him. He's not, I'm the complete opposite. I'm always out somewhere, Nandagram, Barsana, Govardhan, Radhakun. Well, I've been sick for the last few days, so I didn't go anywhere, but usually I'm out somewhere. But Ainda never left, but somehow or other, there was this fellow, Janakinath, and he has some special potency. I don't know what it was. He got Ainda to go to Agra, because he was doing programs in the jail. And we got Ainda to come there with his kirtan party and do kirtan in the jail. And for weeks afterwards, they would always ask when that red-haired fellow is going to come again. He really had an effect. He had such an effect on people. Even last week, some lady came and was asking, "Where's Ainda? I want to meet Ainda." I said, "He's been gone since a long time now." somehow or other he had an effect that this lady had heard that there's somebody named Indra and he's a very ecstatic devotee, and they came to Vrindavan to meet him and found out that he's already gone and left. So anyway, somehow or other, we really, every night he had that special time just before Arti. Everybody used to wait for that time when Indra would come. And it's just, this kirtan is really the life. Everywhere else you go, like there's a new temple here. There's no temple more beautiful than Krishna Balaram Mandir, but there's big marble temples and like this and that, but it's dead. I call them by Goloka Museum, But people come here, they can sit with the kirtan, they can chant, they feel the bliss of chanting Hare Krishna. It's just amazing what Indra Prabhu was able to do, and he's still doing, because he's sending people, and it's one of the hallmarks of our temple, is that you come here, there's always nice kirtan going on. Everywhere I've been, and when I used to travel and preach, everybody say, oh, your temple, first of all, they would say, so clean. Because old days, we remember now, Prabhupada has brought out the whole standard of Vrindavan, even the deity worship. Everything has come up all over Vrindavan, because temples were dirty, there was cobwebs everywhere, and mice running across the altar, and the deity clothes looked like if you just went like that, it would fall apart. But now the whole that's everybody would, first thing they would say, your temple is clean. Second thing they say, oh, the deities are so beautiful. Other thing they said, that kirtan is so amazing. And everybody said that 7 o'clock arti, oh, I'm gad ho gaya. I just became speechless by your kirtan. So this kirtan has become famous all over Vrindavan. And everybody knows this is a lively temple. So many people have told me, I go to other temples, it's nice, but here there's life. People are chanting, somebody will talk to you. So we're extremely indebted to Sripad Kirtan Chandra Namanandi Indra Prabhu for dedicating his life to this kirtan. He managed to affect people all over the world of Iskcon, all over beyond Iskcon. And we're just amazed at this wonderful 24-hour kirtan. It's the life of Krishna Balaram Mandir. Namanandi Sri Kirtan Chandra Namanandi Indra Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Dhiramanda Prabhu. So we have Kavi Chandra Maharaj here, we have Radha Golokanandan Maharaj. And anybody else wants to speak? So, and I know maybe Dharmatma Prabhu wants to speak a little bit. We have, let's see. Pavanita is nodding his head. And then we have any of the ladies. Mataji wants to speak. Yes, Marge? Yes, you were the first one I was mentioning. Please come, Marge.
Likes sweets.
He likes sweets.
Yeah, he got sweets from the Brijbasi shop. Hare Krishna. Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Budale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desa Dharani. Vanchakalpa Trivescha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namah. So I just see everybody likes to hear devotees being glorified. Whenever we have a program glorifying devotees, we fill up the room. Bhagavad-Gita class, there were 10, 12 people come. So we should do more of this. Indra's influence, he told me, he realized we kind of lost a generation and due to all the mistakes that we made in the schools and everything, but he knew they liked kirtan, so he utilized that and brought so many boys here where they could just live in Vrindavan and just chant and hear the really straight preaching from him. So all over the world now, like, well, say New York, Ram Roy's Kirtan is very well known now. And so many of the devotees that are there that'll, have a taste to come out and chant for 4 hours every day in the New York subways, and they're coming from the 24-hour Kirtan. And especially Ram Roy, he had the most association with Indra of anybody, and he took up that Indra, and if you read his book, he was stressing so much street Sankirtan, out, chanting everywhere, Nagar Sankirtan, not just sitting in Vrindavan. Of course, we want that, and he did that, but he wanted that energy to be going out all over the world, so it is. I meet so many boys who spent time with him here, and they love to chant, and they've become expert. If you want to really see the Shakti of Indra, ask Madhava Prabhu anything. Indra, 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 Indra. That's all he can say. It's all Indra. Everything is Indra. And he tells his story how he was quite puffed up and he was a Rastra and everything, but Indra just smashed his ego. He preached very straight. And how he rescued the Gornitai that he had they're still in his room from the accident on the Sankirtan bus, started worshiping him. Somehow 1,000 shalagrams came his way. So, like everybody says, a very amazing personality. And also to show that, Prabhupada didn't personally tell him to do the 24-hour kirtan, but he knew, it was well known, Prabhupada wanted that, and he saw that it wasn't happening, and so he just did it. And like we heard, there wasn't, very many people. I remember he used to be begging, one of his boys needs to go out for a visa, can you help for airfare or something? But then he made some recordings and they sold really good. He started getting some income. And then he got so much support because even devotees' parents, they were sending their teenage kids to him. Because in the West they had no, they just space out. But they come here to Vrindavan and would really affect their life very much. They get that taste for the holy name, taste for Vrindavan, and living, a straight life. And hopefully, those, if they're really influenced by Indra, then we have to take on his tapasya also. He was very simple. I remember one time some of the boys on the party, they were asking me, please, we want to help him, we want to wash his clothes, we want to do service for him, but he won't let us do anything. So I talked to him, and finally he agreed, okay, they can wash my clothes, because I said that they really want to, and but he didn't ever ask for any personal service, just wanted everybody to chant the holy name. So we prayed, he had whatever he was, he had a taste for the holy name, and he made sure that it was being chanted. We heard one year, he always attached to that room because from that room he could hear the kirtan. So he didn't ever want to move anywhere. so he could always know that Kirtan was going on. And 24-hour, when the old days it wasn't easy, Madhava used to do it by himself, the whole 2 shifts at night. He didn't have that many devotees. Now we get a lot. People want to come. And it's very famous. And hopefully it can happen in other temples also. But it has influence, like we heard, for sure the New York daily Kirtan, its 11th anniversary now coming up in a few days. And Ram Roy, definitely by the influence of Indra, he's gone out every day for 11 years. Used to be 6 hours. Now they live in the temple and they make it only 4 hours. But that's out in the New York subways, which are not the most sublime places in the world. But so many people are getting exposed to the holy name. And so many devotees are getting a chance to just sit and chant and get purified. So we have to thank Indra for that and pray for taste for the holy name also. It's not just some artificial thing. He loved to chant. Proof of the potency of it was Garga Muni Prabhu. If any of you know him, at least my godbrothers know him, he's not so sociable and he didn't come to the temple, but he came every day at 5 o'clock for Indra's Kirtan. And he sat under the tree and relished it. Otherwise, he wouldn't come. But that just showed. He also, the only other time was, he told me he hated to go on Harinam Sankirtan, but he went just to hear Vishnu Jan chant. And then he came to the temple just to hear Indra. So that's, a very big evidence. So otherwise, I didn't spend that much time with Indra. He had many facets. Not all of them are fit for public exchange, but he had that love for deities. He was super artistic. His deity dressing was something really spectacular. And you see how he decorated the ashram up there, very creative with the cow dung and everything. He built a bunch of stuff that's still on the altar in New York. He's quite a well-rounded, devotee and very strict sadhana, very learned. So we can try to follow his footsteps, not just talk about it. Get out and chant the holy name. Get out in the streets, chant the holy name. Shri Indra Prabhu ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hare Hare. 24-hour Kirtan, everybody's welcome to join. I see Pancha, the president of the temple, every day after class, he joins it. Right? Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. We are very lucky to have our temple president come for Kirtan daily. And this wasn't happening before, the previous management. We have Janardhan Swami every morning. And so many other, Anyway, now I'd like to ask His Holiness Radha Golokananda Maharaj, say a few words. He's also our temple president. We have 3 temple presidents. So Maharaj is requesting he will speak in English, and many people watching online that don't speak English. So he wants Dharmatma Prabhu to translate in Hindi.
Om Jnana Timirandhasyam Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sripad Aindra Prabhu Ki. On behalf of Shri Radheshyam Sundar, Shri Krishna Balaram, Shri Gaur Nitai, and Srila Prabhupada, I would like to thank all of you who are present here on this auspicious occasion today.
श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर कृष्ण बलराम गौर निताई और श्रील प्रभुपाद जी की तरफ से हम सबको धन्यवाद देना चाहते हैं जो आज यहाँ पर आइंद्र प्रभु के प्रोग्राम में भाग लिए हैं.
I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Govind Prabhu for giving me an opportunity to be among all of you who are such great souls.
और मैं इस अवसर पर गोविंद प्रभु को भी धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ जो कि मेरे को मौका दिया है यहाँ पर आप सबके सामने कुछ बोलने के लिए.
I wanted to speak in English and get it translated because there are very few people who have associated with Aindra Prabhu, and there are many devotees who are watching online and who will be listening for this in the future.
तो मैं इंग्लिश में बोलने के साथ साथ मैं हिंदी में भी अनुवाद करने के लिए बोल रहा हूँ इसलिए कि बहुत कम हिंदी भाषी हैं जो कि आइंद्र प्रभु का संग मिला है उनको, और ऑनलाइन में भी बहुत लोग ये प्रोग्राम को देख रहे हैं.
Aindra Prabhu had been a very special devotee. All of you agree to that. But I would also like to put lights on some more aspect of that.
तो आइंद्र प्रभु जो कि बहुत ही विशेष भक्त हैं जो कि आप सब लोग स्वीकार करते हैं और मैं इस उनके बारे में कुछ कहूँगा.
See, Aindra Prabhu has left this world so many years ago, and despite that today we have, this hall is full of so many of his followers who are here, who are watching this, and who have a heart in the mission which he has taken forward.
आइंद्र प्रभु बहुत साल पहले इस धराधाम को छोड़ के चले गए हैं और उनके तिरोभाव के बाद भी अभी आप देख सकते हैं कि कितने सारे भक्त जो 24 आवर कीर्तन मंडली में भाग लिए हैं.
I had the good fortune when I came in 2009 as a temple president of this temple. Aindra Prabhu was personally present here.
तो जब मैं 2009 में यहाँ पर टेम्पल प्रेसिडेंट बन के आया था तो मुझे आइंद्र प्रभु का संग मिला था.
At that time this temple was not painted.
तो उस समय में जो मंदिर है उसमें रंग किया हुआ नहीं था.
And it was like that for many years.
और इस हालत में बहुत साल तक ऐसा ही था.
And before coordinating with few devotees here, you can never do any major work in Iskcon Vrindavan.
और ऐसा परिस्थिति था कि मतलब कुछ भक्तों से सलाह करने के बाद ही आप कुछ काम कर सकते थे यहाँ पर.
So I went to Aindra Prabhu first and I asked him, I told him, Prabhuji, this is Iskcon temple. We have so many thousands and millions of people coming here. It cannot remain like a slum. So I respect the fact and the ideas of all the different devotees, but we have to paint the temple and make it look fresh every day.
तो मैं सबसे पहले आइंद्र प्रभु के पास गया और उनसे कहा कि मतलब अभी मंदिर का ऐसा हाल है, रंग नहीं किया हुआ है और मैंने बहुत भक्तों से सलाह लिया है और हम मंदिर को रंग करना चाहते हैं और क्योंकि बहुत सारे जो दर्शनार्थी हैं वो मंदिर में आ रहे हैं, इसके लिए हमें मंदिर को रंग करना जरूरी है.
So I told him that I need your blessing first so that I may be able to do this work.
तो मैंने उनसे कहा कि आपका कृपा चाहिए हमको ये सेवा करने के लिए.
Then I went to Dinabandhu Prabhu.
उसके बाद मैं दीनबंधु प्रभु के पास गया.
Then I went to Devi Shakti Mataji.
फिर मैं देवी शक्ति माता जी के पास गया.
And when all three of them gave me blessings that okay, we can go forward, then only at that time we started the painting of the temple.
तो इन तीनों से आशीर्वाद लेने के बाद फिर हमने मंदिर का रंग करना शुरू किया.
I went with him on many aspects. Like when I came here the second time, Govinda Prabhu told me that these speakers, so many devotees are participating. It is good, Maharaj, we have such kind of situation. So I took that line from Govinda Prabhu. And I am very thankful to Uddhav Bandhu Prabhu. We went and we upgraded the whole system that 24 hours. It is going live and it is going on a very nice quality. So the second time we pick it up from Govinda Prabhu.
तो जब मैं दूसरी बार आया यहाँ पर मंदिर के सेवा में तो गोविंदा प्रभु से मिला और 24 आवर कीर्तन का साउंड ठीक से नहीं था तो फिर उद्धव बंधु प्रभु के साथ में हम जो मंदिर के स्पीकर है पूरा साउंड सिस्टम को चेंज कर दिया.
We were so happy with Indra Prabhu's service that devotees from all over the world are listening to this kirtan. Even till today it is going on so nicely. So despite the fact it was so nice, such kind of money is invested and it is made live so that people from all over the world, by whatever was his desire, could further be carried on.
तो हम आइंद्र प्रभु के सेवा से इतना संतुष्ट हैं कि मतलब पूरे दुनिया भर से लोग 24 आवर कीर्तन सुनते हैं और हमें उसमें कुछ सेवा करने का मौका मिला है और इसके वजह से हम बहुत खुश हैं.
Many of you would have learned about the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, which I was going through yesterday.
आपने रामचंद्र के लीला को सुने हैं जो कि मैं कल पढ़ रहा था.
Lord Ramchandra sent many of his devotees to go to look for Mother Sita.
रामचंद्र ने कितने सारे उनके जो पार्षद हैं उनको भेजे थे कि सीता जी का खोज करने के लिए.
But Lord Ramchandra gave the ring only to Hanumanji.
तो रामचंद्र ने वो जो अंगूठी था वो सिर्फ हनुमान जी को दिए थे.
But there were so many devotees. But by the blessings of Lord Ramchandra, Hanumanji was able to reach to Sita Devi.
और रामचंद्र जी का आशीर्वाद से ही हनुमान जी ने सीता देवी को खोजने में सफल हुए.
So Lord Ramchandra is saying, for you to be able to do some very special service, there are some chosen devotees who are empowered by the Lord to be able to do such kind of a service.
तो रामचंद्र जी कह रहे हैं कि भगवान की सेवा करने के लिए बहुत ही चुने हुए कुछ भक्त हैं जो कि भगवान के विशेष सेवा में भाग ले सकते हैं.
Sita Devi is a mother of devotion, and whenever Sita Devi will speak about Hanuman, she will always say, "This is my son Hanuman." So you can understand how much close Hanumanji was there to Sita Devi and Lord Ramchandra.
तो सीता देवी जो हैं वो भक्ति के जननी हैं और जब भी वो हनुमान जी से वो बात करते थे तो वो दिखाते थे कि हनुमान जी कितने बड़े भक्त हैं.
And she would always address Hanuman as her son.
और वो हनुमान जी को अपने पुत्र जैसे मानती थी.
For us to be able to do this service, and many of you young devotees whom I am seeing doing this service so wonderfully despite so many years, I understand that unless these devotees are so empowered, they cannot change the heart of the people.
तो 24 आवर कीर्तन में जितने भी भक्त हैं वो इतने अच्छे से कीर्तन कर रहे हैं और अगर वो भगवान से अगर आशीर्वाद प्राप्त नहीं हुए तो फिर जो दर्शनार्थी हैं उन लोगों के हृदय को परिवर्तन नहीं कर सकते हैं.
I always sit at the back and I observe so many millions of people are coming. Naturally they are coming in the kirtan, they are participating, they are dancing, despite the fact these people come from very good background and high class people.
तो मैं मंदिर के पीछे में बैठे रहता हूँ और वहाँ से मैं देखता हूँ कि कितने सारे दर्शनार्थी मंदिर में आ रहे हैं, कीर्तन में भाग ले रहे हैं, और वो लोग बहुत अच्छे परिवार से आते हैं और मंदिर में कीर्तन सुनते हैं, कीर्तन में भाग लेते हैं।
It touches their heart.
ये जो कीर्तन है उनके हृदय को स्पर्श करते हैं,
And it changes their heart also.
और उनके हृदय को भी परिवर्तन करता है।
If you see today, so many millions of visitors are coming to Krishna Balaram temple. There are principally two main factors.
अगर आप आज देखेंगे कितने सारे दर्शनार्थी मंदिर में आ रहे हैं, और उनका दो कारण है, उनके आने का दो कारण है।
The service which Mukunda Datta Prabhu has taken up with a very wonderful consciousness, and all the devotees in line with him in serving the deities make the deities manifest there.
जो सेवा मुकुंद दत्त प्रभु कर रहे हैं बाकी सब पुजारियों के साथ में, और भगवान को इतने सुंदर से सेवा करते हुए, सजाते हुए हमारे सामने प्रस्तुत करते हैं।
The Lord is so pleased with all these devotees. I remember interacting very frequently with Shrutakirti Prabhu, Vishakha Mataji, and the whole team of devotees. They day and night are working. How do we improve the deity department?
श्रुतकीर्ति प्रभु और विशाखा माता जी से बहुत समय मिलते हैं और उनसे बात करते ऐसा पता चलता है कि वो दिन रात कितने सारे सेवा करते हैं भगवान को प्रसन्न करने के लिए डीटी डिपार्टमेंट में।
There are so many devotees whom I don't fully know all their name, but there are so many devotees who are involved so intensely in serving the Lord, which compels the Lord to be present there.
कितने सारे भक्त लोग ये जो डीटी डिपार्टमेंट में सेवा करते हैं, हमें सबका नाम पता नहीं है, पर बहुत ही अच्छे से इस विभाग में वो लोग सेवा लेते हैं।
When Lord Ramchandra was leaving this world, Hanumanji wanted to leave. But Lord Ramchandra said to Hanumanji, I will be present wherever my holy name is being chanted. So I will definitely be present there.
तो रामचंद्र जी जब इस धराधाम को छोड़ के जा रहे थे तो हनुमान जी भी उनके साथ जाना चाहते थे, पर रामचंद्र जी ने कहे कि नहीं, जहाँ पर भी मेरा दिव्य नाम का गुणगान होगा मैं वहीं पर प्रस्तुत रहूँगा।
And the essence of this, it is not what all of you are just seeing. Whatever the Lord has said, whatever is there according to the scriptures, this is the line which Indra Prabhu, he took. And even today, so many of these young devotees, Govind Prabhu, Akinch Krishna Prabhu, they are there with this Kirtan of the name, and which makes the Lord to be there. And the reason for which so many people are coming to Iskcon Vrindavan.
तो कितने सारे भक्त हैं 24 आवर कीर्तन में भाग लिए हैं, सेवा कर रहे हैं, और उनके कीर्तन के माध्यम से हमें ऐसा लगता है कि भगवान भी वहाँ कीर्तन में मौजूद हैं।
The Lord is present there. The Lord is manifest there. Many of the people who would come in the temple hall, they would not even like to leave the temple hall. Many people come there and they sit there for long time, hours and hours.
तो भगवान वहाँ पर हैं जहाँ पर 24 आवर कीर्तन चल रहा है, और कितने सारे दर्शनार्थी मंदिर में आते हैं, कीर्तन सुनते हैं, बैठते हैं, पर मंदिर छोड़ के जाना नहीं चाहते हैं।
The difference is those devotees and many of the devotees, even I do meet with Govind Prabhu very frequently. I'm not telling in front of him, many times when somebody dies, then people glorify him. When he's present, people will criticize him. When somebody will leave the world, then people would glorify him. That is the nature of the world.
तो इस दुनिया का ऐसा नियम है, ऐसा देखा गया कि जब व्यक्ति जब यहाँ मौजूद रहते हैं इस धराधाम में, उनका निंदा होता है, और जब वो इस धराधाम को छोड़ के चले जाते हैं तो उनका गुणगान होता है।
But I see with Prabhuji and Achin Krishna Prabhu and many of these devotees, even these young devotees, they are there and they have so much devotion in chanting the holy name and faith in the holy name of the Lord. Not only they have the devotion, they have very strong faith in the holy name of the Lord. That is why it is helping the whole world to be listening to this Vrindavan temple Kirtan.
तो जैसे कि 24 आवर कीर्तन में गोविंदा प्रभु हैं, अकिंचन कृष्ण प्रभु हैं और कितने सारे भक्त हैं जो कि कितने अच्छे से कीर्तन करते हैं, कितने श्रद्धा पूर्वक भाव के साथ में कीर्तन करते हैं और इससे पूरे दुनिया के जो भक्त लोग हैं वो लोग प्रभावित होते हैं.
For you to be able to touch and change the heart of people, you have to go like Prabhupada chanted Hare Krishna. Chanting many devotees are doing. But because it was chanted purely, it could change the lives of people. So these devotees, while I observe them, and I observe the crowd who was there in the temple, I find similar operations. Forget me, you would see in the temple, so many people are standing and sitting and hearing the kirtan which is going on.
क्योंकि बहुत ही शुद्ध हृदय के साथ कीर्तन होता है तो इसलिए जो दर्शनार्थी लोग आते हैं वो लोग वहाँ पे बैठते हैं, सुनते हैं, नृत्य भी करते हैं और फिर बहुत ही अच्छे हृदय के साथ में वो लोग वापस जाते हैं.
During the course with our many interactions with Indra Prabhu, I could realize that this person also is a very highly devotional person. Many his deity worship, his worship in for his Shaligram Shilas, and his dressing the deities, he's doing kirtan. Many of the things, he had that devotion attitude. So that is why, despite the fact that he is not here today, so many of all of you are still carrying on this legacy.
तो आइंद्र प्रभु के बारे में जब भी सुनते हैं उसमें सुनने के बाद ऐसा प्रतीत होता है कि आइंद्र प्रभु बहुत ही विशेष भक्त हैं और उनके हृदय में बहुत ही भक्ति भाव हैं. इसके वजह से जितने भी भक्त लोग यहाँ पर आए हैं वो लोग सब यहाँ बैठ के उनके बारे में सुन रहे हैं.
I have been personally meeting Prabhuji for the last 30 years. I'm in India here. So I have been personally meeting him on many important decisions to go along the changes of Iskcon Vrindavan. So I would consulting him. So I met him many times, but I could realize that this person is very spiritually advanced.
तो आइंद्र प्रभु से मैं बहुत बार मिले हैं अलग अलग समय में और पिछले 30 साल से मैं इंडिया में हूँ और उनके साथ बहुत बार वार्तालाप हुए हैं.
Not only that, Indra Prabhu would be caring for himself. He would be so much concerned for all the visitors who are coming to the temple.
और आइंद्र प्रभु बहुत सतर्क रहते थे जितने भी दर्शनार्थी मंदिर में आते थे.
So I would stop here because there are so many senior devotees, and I am very, very grateful to all of you. So service which Indra Prabhu has done has shown how the mercy of the Lord flows, how the mercy of the Lord is able to reach you. So we are fortunate to be here and we can learn from him that how he did and how we can also be delivered from here.
तो आइंद्र प्रभु के जीवन से ऐसा लगता है कि उनका जो सेवा है, उनका जो अवदान है इस्कॉन वृंदावन के प्रति और पूरे दुनिया के प्रति और हम किस तरह से इसको आगे बढ़ा सकते हैं.
You see, Vrindavan is the home of the Lord. The Lord, anybody may keep anybody in his courtyard, get him to work in different places. But for somebody to have him a place in his own house would require special intervention from the owner. And here Srimati Radharani, this is the place of Srimati Radharani. And Indra Prabhu has spent so many years. He spent so many years here and he left the world from Vrindavan. So that shows that this person is not an ordinary person. He's not an ordinary person.
तो वृंदावन जो है वो भगवान का घर है और भगवान के घर में बहुत ही विशेष भक्त होते हैं जो कि भगवान के घर में रह सकते हैं और आइंद्र प्रभु उनमें से एक हैं और श्रीमती राधा रानी ने उनको यहाँ पर स्थान दिए हैं और वो यहाँ से भगवत धाम के लिए वापस गए हैं.
Without the blessings of Srimati Radharani, we cannot serve in this place. That is not possible. But such a situation has happened, and somehow such a situation is also available to many of you and many devotees who are participating in this kirtan. under the leadership of Govind Prabhu. So I am very, very indebted to Prabhuji. The whole Iskcon Vrindavan management is indebted to all of them. And we definitely would like them to carry on and help deliver as many people as they are coming in Vrindavan.
तो श्रीमती राधा रानी के कृपा के बिना कोई यहाँ पर सेवा नहीं कर सकता है और सब लोग जो यहाँ पर आए हैं 24 आवर कीर्तन में सेवा कर रहे हैं और हम गोविंद प्रभु को विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद देना चाहते हैं मैनेजमेंट के तरफ से कि उनके लीडरशिप में ये 24 आवर कीर्तन आज भी जारी है.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Please forgive me if I would have said something which is wrong. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Indra Prabhu ki.
Thank you, Maharaj, and thank you again for facilitating so many aspects of this temple. Personally, I haven't heard you speaking before, so this is a great opportunity. Thank you. And we have His Holiness Vaishnava Swami with us. Would you like to speak some in English?
Hare Krishna. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Naman Naman. So we are here today for the auspicious occasion of the appearance day of our dearmost senior member of our Iskcon Vrindavan community, who is no more with us. He is Sripad Indra Prabhu. I joined Iskcon Vrindavan when Dinamanda Prabhu is here. He was president at that time. And Indra Prabhu also came almost 1 year before, same time. Indra Prabhu, Bhuvaneswar Prabhu, and this, we are similar time we arrived. So at that time, the situation, financial situation was very bad of Iskcon Vrindavan. So, and Bhuvaneswar Prabhu took up BBT, and Indra Prabhu took up this 24-hour Kirtan. And when any of us want to do a project and there is no fund, no man, no money, how we will proceed? So Indra Prabhu started this 24-hour Kirtan with no man and no money, practically. But because of his purity and his dedication and determination, somehow or other he pushed. Sometimes he and Nitai Prabhu and the old devotees, they know, 3 devotees, they will shift 8 hours each, somehow or other they managed. And by the power of holy name, slowly, and Indra Prabhu, he has to go for his visa purpose to Nepal. Few times he went, and this saligram appeared from there only, from his visa. slowly, now so many are there. And Indra Prabhu was not only dedicated to Harinam Kirtan, because we are staying together, next room, almost together we are staying. And he has a very good support and very good heart for book distribution too. He always want to help book distribution. And not only book distribution, he personally used to clean toilet bathroom and force others and motivate others to clean also. Sometimes he said, okay, I will personally go and show us how to clean. The example he will set, cleaning. And not only bathroom cleaning is there, must, because we consider other services, okay, but toilet bathroom cleaning, no, we don't know. But he will took that fast. And ashram cleaning, baranda cleaning, something like that. Maintaining relations with the devotees. When we start speaking somebody, then it is very difficult to stop him. So, I remember when some management changes, and at that time, Nityananda Prabhu also knows we have only 2 persons who are taking salary, one Kishan Lal and Om Prakash. One electrician was there, one Kishan Lal was there. The only 2 persons, otherwise nothing was there. Nobody was taking payment. Everything has to do by devotees, everything. Even the kitchen, cooking was by devotees, everything almost practically, cleaning, everything. When then slowly management changes and workers came to clean the temple and clean the ashram, Andhra Prabhu and we are there together, he led us and we are with him. And he said, and we had a petition with the management, why you are selling out our devotional service? This is our devotional service. Why you are selling it out? What we will do then? That was his mood. So now we are doing service and trying to be a good devotee, but always finding our comfort zone. But Andhra Prabhu, he was not like that. He started the job with fully difficulty and always ready to face the difficulty and always away from comfort zone, ready to serve the menial service to please the Guru and Krishna. So that mood and that dedication, that determination, that which we have to learn from him. So today, on his auspicious occasion of his happy birthday, I, from my core of my heart, I pray at the feet of Andhra Prabhu that at least he should bless this fallen soul with some of these dedication and qualities, so that I can fulfill my life, make my life success. Hare Krishna. Sripad Andhra Prabhu ki.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. So, Bhagavad Purana Prabhu, would you like to come and say a few words?
Namam Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Sasvarupa Swami Tanamini Sasvarupa Viramandaminitam Sadhu Bhusanam Bhakti-yoga Punyam Bhakti-vedanta Sikstam Namam Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Sasvarupa Namini Namaste Sri Parandraya Namarasa Vinani Nityananda Namam Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti-vedanta Swami Namini Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravana Pracharine Nevishesha Sunyavadi Paschita Dishtani. Sri Parandra Prabhu ki jai. I'm reading from a poem by Indra Prabhu from his book, The Heart of Transcendental Book Distribution. Hey Radhe, I long to directly witness how delinquent Shyam repays his unrequited debt to his beloved gopis by donning the various moods and characteristics of his own intensely attracted ragatmika devotees in his form as Lord Gauranga. When will I be permitted to personally play a part in the progressive extension of your Braja Leelas, the Adorya pastimes of my most merciful Nimai Chandra? Please let me eternally serve in any small way the lotus feet of my dearmost beloved Sachisuta in the company of the followers of Nitai and Janava Mata. He, the most beautiful of all, more encouraging and more enchanting than millions and billions of cupids, will eternally dance in the core of my heart. My dear unlimitedly gorgeous Shachisuta Sundar, when will your magnificent Goswamis of Vrindavan, headed by Sri Rupa, leniently bestow upon this fallen derelict the priceless treasure of loving service to your Prema Nam Sankirtan Leelas in the Nitya Navadvip sector of Goloka Dham? I will happily serve in any small way to help augment your blissful relishment of the moods of Braja throughout the day and night. I yearn to not only see, but to also get, by your supremely merciful divine dispensation, the chance to actually participate in your blissful nocturnal kirtans of Shriva Sangan in the company of your eternal associates. I will ever immerse my ever-youthful anti-material body, mind, voice, and heart in the ever-expanding ocean of your Prema Nam Sankirtan pastimes, dancing ecstatically while wearing blissfully chiming ankle bells about my feet. I will at different times play various kinds of kartals, wampers, and gongs to help exhilarate your heights of Premananda. Sometimes I will play on the snake-like Sorry, I just lost my place. Hold on a second. Sometimes I will play on the snake-like Nagasimha horn or conch shell. Other times I will play happily upon the Vamshi flute, joyfully generating a festive mood to encourage your rapturous dance. At times I will play on stringed instruments, and occasionally I myself, exhilarated with divine exuberance, will blissfully dance, raising my trembling arms in transcendental delight. At other times, I will again and again roll in the dust of the feet of all the Vaishnavas, profusely crying streams of tears in unbounded happiness. I hope and pray that someday I, at the behest of your eternal associate, terribly love-laden lotus eyes, will mercifully enfold my insignificant yet fully love-saturated person into your most magnanimous bosom. My Sachisuta, my Prananath, there is no one more dear to me than you. Let us always stay with each other through thick and thin and keep each other company. Please don't deprive me of your all-delightful association. Please always stay with me and never ever abandon me. Kindly let me always have you and you always have me, and I always dearly love you and you always dearly love me too. I have none other than you. Without you, I have no one. Please don't let anyone, even in a dream, ever take you away from me. May my heart ever recall your indescribable, captivating countenance, your enchanting gestures, and your youthful, reassuring words of love to me in the privacy of my own dreams. Please let me never, even for a moment, ever forget you. Since my beloved Srila Prabhupada revealed to me the enchantment of your sublime personality, I have cherished an indelible desire to, in an eternal, unhindered spiritual body, forever serve the dust of your lotus feet. Sri Paraindra Prabhu ki.
Jai, thank you. The innermost desires of Indra Prabhu from his very esoteric book. Dharmanta Prabhu, please. The Mataji. Mataji, please come. Yashomati Mataji from Mayapur.
Hare Krishna. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharnini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashata Deshatayani. I pray that Srila Prabhupada allows a few words of quality to come out of this mouth on this day. Today is a glorious day. It's actually 70 years ago was the beginning of your good fortune. Those of you in the front here, maybe the front there, what would your life be without Indra Prabhu? So today is a celebration of your good fortune. A few weeks back, I don't know what made me do it, but I looked on Google, Ayendra Das. And the first thing that comes up is vocalist. Well, maybe for some of you that means a lot, but it hit me like a thunderbolt. So many vocalists are there. You take any competent musician and you ask him to imitate Ayendra Prabhu. Will you get Ayendra Kirtan? No. Even if they said transcendentalist, I would have felt a little bit better. Or if it said, but really what it should say is a Vaishnav saint, at least. At least. Somebody who has gone for 13 years and still his preaching is going on all over the world. This is Ayendra. Ayendra Prabhu he dared to be himself. Not just a sheep, not just one of the people who line up without thinking even why they're there, what they're doing, what is it that they're chanting, what is it that they're doing. He dared to be deep in his bhakti. And this is not only our prerogative, but it is our duty to go deep in our sadhana, to go deep in our bhajan, to go deep in our bhakti. Not to just sing because the tunes are nice and I don't know what else to do with my life. That's only one aspect. I'm very grateful for Bhagavad Prabhu for bringing up this beautiful poem. Yes, we're not there. We're not there. Most of us are not there where we can say, Krishna, I love you, love me back. We're not there. But it beats thinking all day long, I have so many anarthas. We're not chanting Hare Krishna, we're chanting anarthas, anarthas, anarthas. Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati was very clear on that subject. If you concentrate on anartha nivritti, at best you will achieve mayavad. You have to be focused where you want to go. What is it that you want to do? You want to serve Krishna. You want to love Krishna. You want to serve Srimati Radharani. You want to serve the Goswamis who are serving Srimati Radharani. And Ayendra Prabhu dared to open the doors to that wealth. He dared to find it in Prabhupada's books and share it with us. This is what's so special about him. He dared to be different without ever deviating from Srila Prabhupada's instructions. So I don't want to take a lot of time, but I'd like you to meditate on this. And also, like you want to be like Indra, okay? It goes a lot further than a pair of socks and a cheddar. It goes a lot further than that. Dare to serve Krishna, dare to want to serve Krishna. like Ayendra Prabhu did. He chanted in the temple room, but he also chanted in his room. He chanted lots of japa. And when he was not chanting japa, he was studying scriptures, or how much care he gave to all the boys who were under him. I'm not going to tell you stories about Ayendra. I was in India from the early 90s. My son was in the ashram with Bhagavat and Madhava. But in those years, I was younger, he was younger, and I never felt appropriate. Maybe I just didn't have the sukriti to associate with Ayendra Prabhu, because I never did, only through my son, like that. And later on, through his writings. Ayendra Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. I wish you could speak a little more. So next I'm going to read an offering from Gopal Prabhu, who's presently in London, but he's residing in Mayapur, and he used to be playing Mridanga for Ayendra Prabhu for many years, and he helped Ayendra Prabhu manage many of his affairs, and he was very instrumental to Ayendra Prabhu's life. And here it goes. Dear Sripad Ayendra Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances prostrated at your feet. You once said at your birthday celebration that your birth was ungodly and that your real birth was taking initiation from Srila Prabhupada. Since you committed to the path of bhakti, you express life of a true renunciate. Never ever staying outside of an Iskcon temple, only for 1 or 2 exceptions while traveling. And of course, every time you visited Mayapur to hold the week trip celebration that we organized together. It is true, Ayendra Prabhu internally took kshetra sannyas, which means you never leave that kshetra or place for the rest of your life. And he only went to Mayapur because there's no difference between Mayapur and Sri Vrindavan Dham. I had the good fortune of hosting you and the 24-hour Kirtan members in Mayapur, in his house. Your life is exemplary of the person who lived in Vrindavan to benefit spiritual welfare to others. You work selflessly, tirelessly to inspire the Iskcon community by purely chanting Harinam Sankirtan, and you spread the holy name far and wide by tirelessly sound engineering 24-hour Kirtan albums. I remember I received the 1991, I got the, what was it called? Chintamani Nam. It was a cassette tape recording from Sri Vrindavan. The quality was not good of the technical aspect. It was just so enchanting and so groovy, and you couldn't put it down kind of record. And it was distorted and such because he was, he was living in Vrindavan. Technical advantage was lacking, but somehow he put out this tape recording. Then there's Chintamani Nam, and then the next tape came Chintamani Dham, right? And then the first album, Vrindavan Mellows 1, and that was just like a dynamite. And Ayendra Prabhu was listening to it when I used to come and visit him. He was listening to his own album non-stop. Vrindavan Mellows 1. And I know many people, they still today, they have one of his albums on repeat, or one of his, live recording on repeat in their cars, in their homes, because it's just never enough of a good thing, You want more and more, ever increasing tastes. And that's to prove that it is spiritual. So here Gopal Prabhu says, tiredly he was producing the albums. You fully absorbed in puja of your deities, study of Sastra, and most of all chanting pure Shuddhanam Japa. When you were not in your room, Bhajan Kutir, you were committed in the service of the temple or to the deity department or improving a brahmacharya ashram standards, whether that be directly counseling men, correcting, chastising, encouraging, or physically maintaining the ashram by actually personally working with your own hands and tools in repairing and upgrading living standards and conditions for the welfare of other devotees. I remember people coming to look for Indra. They have this association. Where is Indra? Oh, he's over there in a room, whatever number. And the devotee goes there. Indra has a, what do you call it, like a chainsaw, kind of wood. He was cutting some wood for the door. And then he was making the bunk beds. And it was covered with dust from working. And, had these working glasses so that all the chips doesn't go to his eyes where he was working hard. It looked like a construction worker. And he didn't have this air around him that, he's a pure devotee. Okay? He was just thinking, no, I'm just one of you. He never let us, actually it says that later, never let us wash his clothes. Correcting, chastising devotees, true. In 2001, one devotee from the US gave you a $600 donation, and you immediately purchased a water filter system to provide free drinking water for devotees. You were not interested in collecting money and living a lavish, luxurious, fake life. You were a true renunciate, living as best as you could to the life of a true Brajavasi. You absolutely refused to accept any kind of personal comforts or service. Now some of the brahmacharis have air conditioning in their rooms. And Indra Prabhu had no air conditioning. He didn't have even the cooling system. Right? He refused to accept it because he didn't want to be a distinguished persons, different from anybody else. Because they're afraid of becoming puffed up. I recall when you had arrived one late night in my home at Sridham, Mayapur. I stole your laundry cloth and proceeded to start washing them. Within 5 minutes, you sent Govinda Prabhu to the shower to retrieve your cloth from me. I told Govinda to go and tell you that you are a guest at my home and therefore I am washing your clothes. Govinda Prabhu came back after we relaying the message and told me that Indra Prabhu said he doesn't accept any personal service from anyone. Then I attempted to respond to Govinda and said, I am not getting involved. And Govinda said, I'm not getting involved. You go and speak to him directly. We then negotiated that I would wash half the cloth and just leave it soaking in the bucket. Score. A couple of times I was able to wash his clothes, so I don't know. Score. So, but it was true. He would not let anybody wash his clothes. Then we had the Kartik feast and Chaturmasya feast. After 4 months, he had the feast. And he invited all the brahmacharis and even the ladies. They were serving downstairs for the ladies. And it was hundreds and hundreds of devotees, and we cooked in the ashram, and it was a lot of work. And we had to borrow all the big pots and the buckets and everything, and we have a little sink up there by the brahmachari ashram, and it was like a huge pile. So I wake up 2 o'clock in the morning, because I hear noise, I go outside, there is Indra alone washing the pots. So that's who he was, so immediately, of course, I helped him. But when he saw that in the bathroom, the toilet wasn't cleaned nicely, the toilet looks like here. So, and it wasn't, nobody cleaned after themselves up, and he would go there personally. He didn't go to management and complain, because I think that's already happened, but that management didn't do anything. And he went personally with brush and acid, and he was just brushing the toilets and even the walls with acid. And later it was summertime, so the summer here is really hot. And then acid was burning his skin. It was full of acid burns and the heat and the prickly heat, and it was just it was just too much. He had already a lot of heat in his body. And so, but he didn't care. He did not care. Gopi Vallabha Prabhu, where is he? Anyway. All right. Your sannyas application was rejected twice by the GBC sannyas committee because they saw that your level of renunciation was too high for them to relate to. I have the letter. They felt threatened by your level of renunciation. The reasoning of rejection of sannyas was too austere, if it makes any sense. Your strict practice of vratas, or vows, your intense practice of sadhana showed that you were light years ahead of your time in practice of Krishna consciousness. Your level of love and devotion to Krishna Balaram Mandir service was deeper than the ocean. Later taking a vow to never leave Vrindavan, you showed the world how important it is to stay fixed in one's place and in one's principles and dedication to devotional service. All weather, all seasons, in sickness or in health, you executed your service with or without support. You're a true, dedicated follower of Srila Prabhupada, and ultimately you attained your true birth to a Brajavasi in the Brahma Vrindavan Leelas, where the Lord's pastimes are taking place. We humbly beg to follow in your footsteps, not by imitating, but by following true principles you exemplified in your life, by fully being absorbed in the Pancha Anga Bhaktis. Back home, back to Godhead, in this one lifetime, Ki Jai, by the mercy of Indra Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada, and the performance of Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Your servant Gopal Das. Indra Prabhu Ki Jai. I see Dari Bakshi Prabhu back in the room. Would you be willing to come up and say a few words, Prabhu? He agrees. Nice.
Thank you.
Say, Hare Krishna. Very loud, because Ayendra Prabhu is singing so loudly, nicely Kirtan for everybody, you know, making everyone dance, chant, making everybody happy and Hare Krishna, you know, in front of Krishna Balaram. So everybody should, today is very special day, his birthday, so we should be, you know, loudly be chant. Wherever Ayendra Prabhu there, he can hear from your voice and he will bless you more and more. Say, Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! Krishna Krishna! Hare Hare! Hare Rama! Hare Rama! Rama Rama! Hare Hare! His Grace Ayendra Prabhu ki jai! Ayendra Prabhu Abhirbhav Tithi Maha Utsav ki jai! Ayendra Prabhu Vyas Puja Celebration ki jai! Dhanyavad. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Oh, very, very nice. Because Ayendra Prabhu is my close friend. He's very, very close. Very, very close. He likes me so much because I joined here 1975 beginning in the Vrindavan temple. So, so when he came from America, so he wants to be 24-hour Kirtan at the temple here. So always when he finished 6:30 Kirtan in the temple hall, when I sit there, then he always call me, Daddy, come upstairs, come upstairs. Then he take me upstairs, first floor and his room. Nobody was there, only he and me. So he finding everything. He said, what's the Prabhupada time here? You tell me all the nectar, what's going on that time, what Prabhupada say for about the 24-hour chanting this place, the Krishna Balaram temple. You please, you explain everything. So I explained to him, yes, Prabhupada wants 24-hour Kirtan. So that way he become very enlightened. That's why he become my close friend. So they say, oh, very nice. Because that time when we joined here at this Krishna Balaram temple, the 24-hour Kirtan was going on, this temple. Even we sleep in the night, a temple commander come and wake us for, about your 2 hours a duty to all different devotees. Here that time, mostly all the Western devotees here. So Prabhupada was very happy when he's here in this 24-hour Kirtan Hare Krishna temple, the Krishna Balaram Mandir and Mayapur. So that time one Mataji was here, beginning, her name is Golak Basini Mataji. Golak Basini. She chanting always with the tambura. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasistate. She is always chanting in front of the temple. Even night time also she chanting. So Prabhupada was very much pleasing. Then after she married with Sachinandan Prabhu, he was a pujari, he's from Bengal. So then after I had not seen them, I don't know where they went. So, but I never went to Europe, America, but I'm Indian. I stay India only itself. I'm from Nepal, so I'm Nepalese. So I came here to join direct from Nepal to in Vrindavan. I never know anything about here that time, but Krishna brought me here. Krishna Balaram brought me here. Prabhupada brought me here. So I joined. So that way, and anyway, I don't want to discuss my own, but I'm discussing about Ayendra Prabhu. So he was my close friend. That way, he's telling me that you should make your son also devotee. Why? How much he study? Which standard? Don't make him engineer. Don't make him a doctor. Let him become a devotee. Bring Vrindavan. I can train him up nicely. So by Ayendra Prabhu blessings, so my son also, he's chanting. His name is Guru Gaur Krishna Das. So he's a Patama disciple. So he also chanted exactly like Ayendra Prabhu by his blessings. Always he hearing, even now also he always hearing Ayendra Prabhu Kirtan. Even Bombay, different places, he does the program. He sing Ayendra Prabhu's style. So everybody is so happy. Even he comes to Vrindavan, he always join in the 24-hour Kirtan here, this temple here. Even now this time also, whenever comes here, he join. He likes. So because of this mercy of my godmother, Ayendra Prabhu, so always he asked me, he said, I have a difficulty for sometime for the management. With that time, management always changing, sometimes 4 presidents, sometimes 3 presidents, sometimes 1 president. So he have so difficulty for the, managing for them and asking money for the maintain this Sankirtan department, 24-hour department, Kirtan. So he's telling me all the details. So I don't know how to go all the details, but he have so much distress. I told him, he said that you're from Brahman family from Nepal, you please give me blessings, then I can manage. So like that he said, because the management have, sometimes I have a problem, they're not giving enough money to, I don't know, I have to bring the karta, this, that. He was always discussing things like that. So then when we discussed sometime the head pujari, the Mukundatta Prabhu is coming there upstairs. He's also one of good friend of Ayendra Prabhu. Then they both have discussed like that. So then then I finished build my house. He said, I want to do program your place. So 2-3 times he take all the groups there. He did under my roof. He did very, very big program. Even night 12 o'clock, he's talking, discussing, and asking questions. The devotee 2-3 times he did a very wonderful program. My house. He said, Dadhi, when GBC give me the troubles, so I'll come to stay your place. Can you give me the room? I said, definitely I'll give. He said, I will chant here. I will write my books. He said, I want to write books. But I have so much problem. He's asking because, some problem with the GBC, and that's like Prabhuji discussed that, sannyasi, this, that. So, like that. So he's always discussing with me very nicely, peacefully, everything, always he's asking me, so many things. I'm very close. He keeps so much prasadam there upstairs. So he said, take as much prasad you can. How much prasad you want to take? So he fulfilled my bag. He filled the prasadam for me. And plus, he wants to be Indian citizen. He have a difficulty for the visa, this and that. So I say, okay, at that time, because BJP management, BJP government was, Uttar Pradesh, UP me also, the BJP, because the central also, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he was a prime minister. So I told Prabhuji, this is your good time, because you can become American, the Indian citizen. You can go to Delhi and apply. He said, are you sure? Yes, you'll do that. I'll pray for the Lord. Okay. So he said, okay. There he went. He get the application there. He did. And then after he get the Indians, he was so happy. That way, then he respected him more and more like that. Because always he giving on the Chaturmas when he's there. And Karti, he give me the books, Dakshina, this and that. I said, Prabhuji, I am not qualified to take your Dakshina. Please don't give. No, you are Brahmana. You are this, that. You're a very powerful person. You know the many. You are Pandit. So he, So he, so he give me this, that, like that. So always he calling me. He was keeping me so happy and pleasing. So Prabhuji doing wonderful kirtan, all the nectars here. He don't want to move anywhere. He want to stay Vrindavan only. Even management give him trouble, so he wants to stay my place. That is his desire. So then after I think Panchagauda Prabhu came, then after management was very good, then he was supporting him, so he have no problem. Then before there's so much problem for him. After Panchagauda Prabhu came, so then only one president was ruling here. So because he's sadhu, Panchagauda Prabhu, so he respect him. Then he have no problem for them, maintain the Sankirtan department. So like this. Then so Ayendra Prabhu, everybody likes him, and Vrindavan Dham, everybody 6:30, everybody was chanting, dancing from outside people. They love him very much. So today is his birthday. A very special day. So even I am sitting in the back. So Ayendra Prabhu introduced me, brought me here to speak few words for him, his glorification. So, the bell is ring is correct. So, I pray to Ayendra Prabhu, please forgive my offenses to your lotus feet. So give me more and more mercy, then I can become Krishna devotee and Prabhupada servant. Shri Ayendra Prabhu ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Shri Krishna Balaram ki
Jai.
Shri Radheshyam Sundar Bhagwan ki
Jai.
Shri Gaur Nitai ki
Jai.
Nitai Gaur Pramanande. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hari Bol.
Very wonderful. Thank you, Prabhuji. I'd like to ask Pritu Prabhu.
Namaste Krishna Vishnavutale Srimad Bhaktivinoda Swami Nityananda. Namaste Sarasvati Devi Guravani Pachani. Nivasesa Sunyavari Pasatya Satani. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. So Ayendra Prabhu is an icon. He's an icon for the 24-hour Kirtan all over the world. The Vrindavan Kirtan is, 24-hour Kirtan is, so to say, the holy grail of 24-hour Kirtan. It's the epitome, the ultimate performance of glorification of the Lord. And it was the life and soul of Ayendra, as you know better than I. I remember when he was in New York, he had this car, this flatback truck. It was equipped like a little temple, and he drove around and doing just that, namely Kirtan. And it remained with him throughout his life while he was here. It was Kirtan, and nothing but Kirtan. And he was completely absorbed in it. And his melodies were unique. There's a Ayendrian style of chanting Hare Krishna mantra, very different from any other style I've seen before. And so many people's hearts were touched by Ayendra Prabhu over the years. And so one may say that Ayendra's way of chanting, it happened in Vrindavan, and most in Vrindavan, but there are others too. And although I didn't have so much association with Ayendra, I saw him from time to time, we had pleasant talks. But my son, actually, he is completely into Ayendra. He's a Harinam leader in Los Angeles. And he sings with Ayendra together. And I have here just a tape, let me see. Tape number 72 videos chanting with Ayendra in Los Angeles at Ayendra melts everyone. Let me see if I find it here. There. And he has hundreds of people, whenever he goes 2-3 times a week, hundreds of people dancing in the tunes of Ayendra. So he's still there. He's still there in other areas as far as Los Angeles, and people dance and know Ayendra's tunes, they sing with him together, and it's amazing how his influence has spread all the way to Santa Monica Pier in Los Angeles. So naturally we are all very happy that we can assemble here today to glorify Ayendra and memorize this great Vaishnava saint who walked among us, whose life was kirtan up to his last breath. Ayendra Prabhu ki jai, Ayendra Prabhu ki jai, Ayendra Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram
Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare. Ayendra Prabhu ki
Jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was wonderful. I have another offering on my phone from New York City, from Ram Roy Prabhu, who was a very early friend and disciple of Ayendra Prabhu, and he's been closely following and been with him since the early 80s, even while Ayendra Prabhu was performing his 10-12-hour daily Sankirtan in New York. And this is what he writes. Dear Ayendra Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for being larger than life. Thank you for being the real deal. I consider my meeting you in 1981 and having many years of your association in New York and Vrindavan to be the greatest blessing and favor from Krishna in my life. You made such a deep impression on me that unbelievably, here we are completing 11 years of daily Harinam in New York City. The determination to stay here and make it happen against all odds, and in bracket it says, and there have been many, is because of what I learned from you about the importance of public Harinam Sankirtan. It's our responsibility to inundate the people of this world with continuous Harinam and great sacrifice and surrender are required. One such special soul, Natabar Gauranga, has joined me for the past 10 years, dedicating everything to help make it happen. I pray more devotees can come forward in the same way. Ram Roy Prabhu is always praying for more people, if you know him. Truly, the real nectar only comes from complete self-sacrifice. Thank you, Ayendra Prabhu, for showing the way with unmatched, powerful realization, practical application, and supremely attractive potency, hoping to always have your eternal association. Your servant, Ram Roy Das. Ram Roy Prabhu ki jai. Ayendra Prabhu ki jai. So it's 1:30. We plan to have the program till 2 o'clock. And 2 o'clock we want to do Pushpanjali. And followed by Kirtan, more Kirtan. Prasadam will be served at Krishna Hall at regular 3 o'clock time. And not here, because in the past it has been a little chaotic. So we thought, we don't know how many people show up, less people, more people, etc. So we thought it was better to serve it there. I would like to ask Keshi Damana Prabhu to come and speak for 15 minutes. Please come, Prabhu. You're hankering after your association. Prabhu has very good realizations. Yes, that's true.
The microphone, the bass is too high. Yeah, more mid-range. It's all bassy. And a little more treble on top. So, wonderful to hear Indra being glorified. mukham karoch vacharam bhangam nate girim yadkivaram. Krishna is realized, Lord Chaitanya is realized through his devotees. They are the Kripa Sindhu. They're the ocean of the Lord's mercy. So Ayendra, this temple is blossoming, so many people here, because Ayendra started the 24-hour Kirtan. Srila Prabhupada, he went to Tompkins Square Park and he just chanted. I was listening to a lecture, it's in the Nectar of Devotion series, I think, and Prabhupada said, I used to chant for 3 hours, and then some boys came and danced. Then they went back to matchless gifts, and Prabhupada would have an arti kirtan, and then explain the philosophy. And if you hear those early tapes of Srila Prabhupada 1969, he was speaking from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was discussing the teachings of Lord Chaitanya right from the beginning. So we must always remember this, and this was Ayendra's point, that we can't become distracted. Srila Prabhupada started the movement by hearing and chanting. So hearing and chanting, that will continue the movement of Srila Prabhupada, which Ayendra was so insistent should go on in a pure form. So management and all that, it has to be there, of course, but it is to facilitate hearing and chanting. There is one letter to Karandar, 1972. Srila Prabhupada said that I did not start this movement for making bureaucracy. So Srila Prabhupada started the movement by hearing and chanting, not by meeting. So the real meetings are to hear and chant. When we get together in the temple and we have a kirtan, that is the real management meeting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And when we get together and we hear Srimad, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, that is also the real management meeting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So let us not forget the essence. That this is Endra's point. I used to always go and see him in the evening, and he would speak to me on these points. And I would say, yes, yes, don't worry, Andra, don't worry. He would say that, anyway, I don't want to say things. Only that I will say one thing I will remember, that Govinda was talking about how Andra used to make his tapes in his room there with his sound system. And, during his Tirabhav, is this Ayendra's Tirabhav? Avyabhav. Anyway, his speakers and his amplifier became very damaged. So somehow or other they became in my possession. I really don't know how they did. But I got them and I took them to different people and they're all fixed up. So they're working to this day and still playing very finely and everything. So Indra, he was very fixed and very powerful because of that. We know the Leela of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva means fixed. Dhruvaloka, the pole star, is fixed in the sky. So we can learn from Ayendra, from Dhruvaloka, from the Bhagavatam, from Jad Bharat, to become fixed in our Sankirtan Yagya. That means we chant in the 10th canto, 10th chapter, Opulences of the Absolute, Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna says, Yagyanam, Japa Yagyanam. Out of all sacrifices, there may be so many in the Vedas, I am Japa. So Japa is a sacrifice. A sacrifice is that which is done for the other. The parents sacrifice their lives for the children. So we sacrifice for the other. So when we chant, when we have kirtan, when we have meetings, Sankirtan meetings, Bhagavatam meetings, we should always remember the mental attitude is there. Ayendra knew that. We used to discuss with it, that our hearing and chanting is an offering to Krishna. If the Hare Krishna mantra, as we all know, but always many, at least myself, forget, means, dear Lord, please engage me in your service. So we must chant in that way. We must have an internal understanding of the Mahamantra, and we must chant desirous of being engaged in Krishna's service. And then our kirtan, our pravachan, our spreading of the holy name becomes very pure. And this is why, because in the old days there, when Ayendra was with us, I used to always go there in the evening. Ayendra would come down at 6 o'clock, 5:30, and everyone would assemble. And a great ecstatic kirtan would take place, because Ayendra was leading it in a spirit of yagya. So we must always remember that. That yes, we're engaging the tongue, body, and so on, but we must engage the consciousness in the attitude of an offering to Krishna. It is sevanmukhi jivado. By a service attitude, swayam eva spuryada, then the Supreme Lord becomes revealed in the heart of a devotee. So realization is a result of seva bhav, by hearing and chanting. Ayendra embodied that feeling. He was always doing Chaturmasya. He would slim down at the end. He would be skinny. And then he would plump up for next year. But he was doing it as an offering. So if we can remember this point, then our devotional practices will become very potent, and we'll get the fruit of Krishna Prem. This is most important. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, I'd like to bring your attention to something that I've been working on. I'm not asking for money. In Western notation here, I've written out about 50 bhajans. Damadarastikam, Manasiksha, Istadeva Vinapati, Radhikastava. So actually it's a good idea there, Matajis, yes. You can collect the money to get these all printed. I want to print one volume of about 50 bhajans in Western notation with video showing the hand movements. And this is only a partial amount. I have also, this is a book of music theory at the beginning, different configurations. But I've also written out about 100 Mahamantra melodies in Western notation. So I know many of you don't do it, but you can learn. So this is how we can expand Ayendra's legacy, 24-hour Kirtan, by learning to do Kirtan very wonderfully. And I think really what we need in the temple is a Kirtan mandap. You know, we're always putting a Kirtan mandap in Damodar for the boat festival. I think we need a permanent Kirtan mandap with a domed roof on top, elevated 8 inches, starting, there are 4 columns in front of the temple, the deities, 1, 2, 3, 4, should come from the outer ones all the way back, encompassing the tree. And there we can have a permanent and a properly amplified Kirtan mandap. The mandap is meant to accentuate the sound of the responding devotees. So I think this is something the management devotees can provide to the Sankirtan meeting, the Pravachan meeting. Because now we are having so many people in the temple. Every day is a festival, right? And we're having to rope off and everything. The darshan is disturbed. But if we have a permanent Kirtan mandap, properly amplified with speakers and microphones for the leader and the response and the madanga and everything expertly adjusted, that would be a wonderful thing. Because at the moment, sometimes you just hear the lead singer and you hardly hear the response. So we should perfect the sound of Ayendra's Kirtan, his 24-hour Kirtan. And I've told the story, I tell it every year, I'll tell it finally now, that I was one of the first people to meet Ayendra when he came here. He came, I think it was 85, yeah. I was, you know, the Gurukul there, they used to have an entrance to the Gurukul building. The brahmacharis were on the top. So I was at the entrance, I think it was about midday. Ayendra came up to me. I'd seen him before in New York in his Sankirtan van, and he came up to me and he had one of those hand racks that you put a suitcase on, but he had monitor speakers on it. So he came up, he said, "Prabhu, where do I sign in? Where do I go for the C form?" I said, you go to the guest house. He said, "Okay, Prabhu." And he was gone. So I thought, oh. And then he started the 24-hour Kirtan. And it's gone on without break, correct? But we should think, many people here visiting, we should have 24-hour Kirtan in every continent of the world. Not just at Vrindavan. And also Lord Chaitanya said and tick it off, make contacts, sell books, speak to the local police, get permission, do everything. Because we have to become externally, we have to learn Kirtan very nicely, all the melodies and everything, and then we have to propagate. And when the devotees have gone through the whole list, say I think the Russians will probably be going through their list first, even though it's the biggest country in the world, because they seem very fired up. Their kirtans are very ecstatic. So, when you've gone through your list, Mr. GBC, then start again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. All glories to Ayendra. All glories to Harinam Sankirtan. Srila Prabhupada Sadhu Sangha Ki Jai.
Hari. Thank you, Prabhu. Mukunda Datta Prabhu, please.
Om Jnanatimirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarnam. The Rig Veda tells us that saintly persons are always looking toward the supreme abode of the Lord. Tad Vishnoho Paramam Padam. And Indra was that kind of person. He always had his priorities very clear, and his priorities were always in the next world. No, none of us know when we're going, so that's not a bad idea. But we were teenagers together. Anybody know when Indra was born? What year? Yeah? 56, yeah. So we used to... Huh? Okay, well, close enough. And we used to go out and Sankirtan together on Radha Damodar traveling Sankirtan party. And he was always very focused on Kirtan in particular. He really liked Kirtan, always. And he was always very enthusiastic in his own characteristic way. Never really felt constrained by conventions of any sort. He was always very serious, hardcore practitioner of Krishna consciousness. I always appreciated that about him, and he became even more and more deeply absorbed in the same mood as he spent his later years here in Vrindavan. So it's a great inspiration. Srila Prabhupada was never one of the primary members of the Gaudiya Math during the presence of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Some of his godbrothers used to criticize him because he was viewed as an outside or semi-outside person. So, but nonetheless, he spread Krishna consciousness all over the world in ways that nobody could have foreseen, at least nobody did foresee it, and certainly nobody could imitate. And unfortunately, many didn't even appreciate also, out of envy or whatever. So Indra was actually, he was empowered like this in a similar way, not exactly the same, of course, but somehow or other he had the potency that Krishna gave him this opportunity to popularize chanting Hare Krishna Kirtan worldwide, and particularly among the young people. And in this room, we're still mostly young people here, I'm seeing. So it's going on because what he dedicated himself to was timeless, and that has a timeless appeal across generations and geographic regions and even philosophical persuasions. Kirtan is immediate appealing to the heart, and it seems Indra knew that, and certainly he had some potency to inspire people to chant Hare Krishna very seriously, and he gave that example right up until the end. So we're fortunate that Indra took it upon himself necessarily to reinvigorate Srila Prabhupada's standing instruction to hold 24-hour kirtan, at least in Mayapur and in Vrindavan. So he did his part, but it's not that he wasn't always dedicated to the holy name. He just somehow or other Krishna put him into this position. And it's a great inspiration. We're all should be very grateful for what he did. And it's glorious life that he lived. And on this day, I'm very happy to just say a few words about him and to humbly offer my respects in his memory and pray for a little bit of His mercy that maybe I can also become serious about chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Indra Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari. Next, Shrutakirti Prabhu, please come.
Hare Krishna. I'm about the least qualified person to talk about Ayendra Prabhu. Besides not really having any personal association with him. As I passed through my years in Krishna consciousness, I always avoided a few kinds of people. One was those that whatever they did was questionable. You know, you just knew something behind the face, the eyes. The other ones were the very Krishna conscious people, because I was never in that place. He was one of those. So I never approached him because I didn't have that interest in being so Krishna conscious. I had already been with the person that was so Krishna conscious, Prabhupada, you know. So being with him, but what I see, as years go by and twice a year, listening to people speak about him, realize his potency, such potency. And of course, where it comes from. He had no pratishta. He was never interested in making a name for himself. Like Prabhupada. If you want to know about Prabhupada, you have to find out from this person that you can't read his books. And then Prabhupada's talking about himself. He talked about Krishna. Ayendra had Vrindavan mellows. It wasn't kirtan by Ayendra Prabhu. No. This is where potency comes from. He understood Prabhupada's process. He followed it very strictly. And that's where potency comes from. Just today, we came here late. We had like a 3-hour MVT meeting that I attended. And the whole meeting came to one thing. Is this an ashram or is this just some hotel motel? No, it's very serious. And unless you keep that standard, which is so easy for it to fall apart, just like that, we're seeing it happen as crowds increase. You heard yesterday 23,000 plates of khichdi. That means Vrindavan's being inundated. What did Prabhupada say? The devotees, they bathe in the Jamuna, the Ganga. Why? To purify it from all the sinful activities of everyone else that comes here to dump their sinful activities, the karma from their sinful activities. The pure devotee, he takes bath, he purifies that place. Ayendra was so nice. If I can say, sometimes here at the Kirtan, like the boat festival, sometimes you hear everyone chanting, following the leader. Sometimes I can't follow the leader. I never saw that with Ayendra Prabhu, that he would chant and you had to learn how to follow him. Because this is what the chanting is for. He knew everything. He did it very, very well. And because of that, he got his ticket out of here much sooner than some of us who have to keep trying and trying. Listening to Ram Prabhu and my godbrothers Dadi Baksha, such an impression that one person can make on others that continues to carry on. But it's very, very important to follow. That was his secret. Strictly following, to serve, serve the holy name. We know, we've heard so much from so many, and it's already late. I guess I have my few minutes here. He was very kind. He restricted himself. But all of us, all of Prabhupada's disciples, they understand this process. And all of you here, you know what to do, what not to do. 50 years, still struggling. What I see, what I enter. He came here, that was it. End of story. He knew his service. When I wrote my book, Bhakti-tirtha Maharaj wrote something, and he said, when you are given much, much is expected. We've all been given very much. Some of us are able to take that, what they've been given, and just pass it right on in a pure way. And I see that was that's what he did. And in this way he's glorious. He'll always be glorious part of Iskcon for what he's done. So that's all I have to say right now. Thank everyone for being here. Govinda Prabhu, very difficult service, carrying on. But we do it. We do it for service. We do it for Prabhupada's pleasure. We do it for Indra Prabhu's pleasure. And there's nothing more satisfying, as Panchagoda always says to me, what more do you want? We're here chanting in front of Krishna Balaram. Look what we've been given. So anyway, thank you for continuing, all of you who are involved. I appreciate it very much. And Indra Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So it's 2 o'clock, and you want to keep the schedule, I think. And there's some devotees we couldn't ask to speak. Sorry. If you didn't ask you. Mukundadatta Prabhu will perform the Pushpanjali for all of us. We have some flower petals up in the front. We don't have much for everybody, so don't take too much, please, so everybody can have some. And then we have more kirtan, and once again, prasadam will be at 3 o'clock at the Krishna Hall. Indra Prabhu ki jai!